A message to Joe Biden. You cannot have it both ways. You can't have it both ways, Joe.
We've got to cut through the noise.
Oh, the double standards. Just keep on coming. Just keep on. They're coming out of everywhere. Anywhere you look, there's double standards headed for you. It's an apocalypse. It's an apocalypse of undead, flesh-eating, decaying double standards. This is a message directed to Joe Biden and also to anyone who follows the logic of Joe Biden. You cannot possibly believe that you are going to get away with the amount of double standards that you're living by. Recently, it's come to the attention of nearly all right-wing news outlets. All the right-wing outlets are covering this story that has recently come to light. And there are some left-wing organizations that covered it, like Vox and more libertarian articles coming from The Guardian. But this story that I'm going to talk about has not broken in mainstream media. More on that later. Joe Biden and a woman named Tara Reade have recently broken headlines. Tara is accusing Biden of sexual assault 26 years ago is when she claimed it took place, and we're going to discuss the details of the allegations that she is accusing Joe Biden of. But the main thing I want to focus on is the reactions. The reactions to these allegations. And to be more specific, I want to talk about the hypocritical reaction we got from the Joe Biden campaign. And the reaction, or I should say lack thereof, from the mainstream liberal hacks at CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, The Washington Post. No articles regarding these sexual assault allegations that have some substantiated evidence against Joe Biden. Before we do that, make sure that you're subscribed. And on top of that, if you could just ring that little bell, pointing to the wrong place, ring the bell. Because if you don't ring the bell, you're not guaranteed to actually ever see my face ever again. You will never be notified when I upload. So ring the bell. All right, let's get down to business. Let's get to the details of the allegations. The accuser, her name is Tara Reade, she claims that she's been trying to share her story of how Joe Biden sexually assaulted her for a while. If you remember last year, there was a group of women who came out and accused Joe Biden of inappropriate workplace behavior. She was among them. She claims that he would run his fingers on her neck, and other women made this same claim. Here's a little bit of background. Tara Reade, she worked for Joe Biden in his Senate office in 1993. Reade says that Joe Biden kissed her when it was a moment of privacy, it was just them two. He kissed her, and while he was thrusting himself upon her, he violated her with his fingers without her consent. Which, let me just, on a side note, if this happened, if Joe Biden did this to her, and we will find out, it is wrong. And my heart breaks for individuals who experience this type of abuse. It's a common talking point we hear from the left, that people who have conservative politics are just heartless pieces of crap that don't care about human rights. That's the narrative. And it's just not true. It's not true. Nobody wants to see this to happen. Nobody wants to see this happen to anybody. If we can agree on anything, it's that when an individual is abused like this, it breaks all of our hearts. And justice absolutely should be served. Take a listen to a clip from Tara Reade telling her story on the Katie Halper show. Just a quick warning, it's a short clip, but it is mildly graphic, so do keep that in mind. Here we go.
I was wearing a blouse and he just had me up against the wall and the wall was cold. And I remember it happened all at once. The gym bag, I don't know where it went. I handed it to him, it was gone. And then his hands were on me and underneath my clothes. And and then he went down my skirt, but then up inside it. And he penetrated me with his fingers, whatever. And he was kissing me at the same time, and he was saying something to me. He said several things, and I can't remember everything he said. I remember a couple of things.
Once again, you can find the rest of that, the rest of that interview by searching for the Katie Halper show. But my question is, why is this being buried? I first came across these allegations on the Daily Wire, a place I visit quite frequently. But what I found extremely peculiar is that lack of recognition that the story is getting. Here's a basic Google search for Joe Biden. I was running a quick test to see how long I would have to scroll to find coverage of this story from a major news organization. Spoiler alert, it's pretty far. In fact, in 6 pages of scrolling, you will see I did not see any major news network covering this. Yes, it's pretty new in terms of how much attention it's getting. There's one from The Guardian. That's on page 2, but that's not a major news network. This is a pretty new story that's breaking light, but it's not that new. Joe Biden has been on television since these allegations came out. And yet, he was not asked about them. There's one from National Review. That's a right-wing news outlet. Not really mainstream media there. There's Bloomberg. Bloomberg doesn't want to talk about it. What's going on? Now, what I did find is that places like Huffington Post and other places had broken stories on it. It's just when you search for Joe Biden, Google throws top 10 gaffes. That's a great read. Google throws those articles way back to like the 6th page. Now, we can keep watching this. Deadline.com has an article. We all remember what happened to Brett Kavanaugh just a couple of years ago. As soon as I Google search his name, I am bombarded with information regarding the unsubstantiated claims that were used against him. There was one in the suggestion, so that's one. Let's count how many on the first page. There's 2. There is 3. 4. On the first page. 5. Thanks, Fox. I want you to remember that when you are a public figure or business, not saying anything is saying something. Keeping your mouth shut at a time when major allegations, which appear to be substantiated, she has witnesses that say they remember her telling them about this back in 1993. When major allegations are being made about the top contender for the Democratic presidential nomination, and you don't even speak a word of it, that is making a statement. Biden he's been on television since the news broke. Not a single question about it. CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post. How do you expect the general public to believe that you are being honest with them when you are so openly biased? And here's the thing. Everybody knows you're biased. That's not really where I have a problem. It's not the fact that you are biased that bothers me the most. It's the fact that you're just so stinking lazy about it. Because you know you're going to get away with it, so you might as well not even hide it. Here's the deal. Those of you on the left, you cannot have it both ways. The Joe Biden has released a statement regarding the incident, and here it is. Through the mouth of Joe Biden's deputy campaign manager, Biden says women have a right to tell their story, and reporters have an obligation to rigorously vet those claims. We encourage them to do so because these accusations are false. There's only one problem. Only one problem with the position that the Biden campaign has taken on this. It directly contradicts the views Joe Biden held just a couple of years ago. While all of the Brett Kavanaugh allegations were going on, Biden said this, and I quote, "For a woman to come forward in the glaring lights of focus nationally, you've got to start off with the presumption that at least the essence of what she's talking about is real." Now, there's a lot of political speak in there. What he is saying is that it takes a lot of courage for a woman to come out and accuse a public figure of wrongdoing, or a victim for that matter. But he's taking this stance of the whole the victim has nothing to gain from doing this, from accusing someone of wrongdoing them, from accusing someone in public office of sexually assaulting them. There's nothing to gain from that. It's already been disproven. Christine Blasey Ford, the woman who accused Brett Kavanaugh, profited at least 7 figures from the whole ordeal. And she'll probably have a book out at some point. Imagine that. She's profited 7 figures from the accusation. Not from other side dealings or other careers no money that came to her because she made this accusation. She profited 7 figures. So the whole argument that they have nothing to gain, it goes right out the window. But from Biden's perspective, a victim has nothing to gain from accusing someone of sexual assault. So what they are accusing has to at least be somewhat true. Yeah, except when those accusations are pointed at you, right, Joe? Then the allegations are false. Nope, they are not true at all. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break, Joe. Even in an article from The Guardian, see if I can pull it up here. We see the same type of double standards. Now, this is not a terrible article. Here's the author, Arva Madavi, might be how you pronounce it. But she's talking here. See if I can find it. Ah, here it is. Listen to the hypocrisy here. Tara Reade's story may be impossible to verify. Yeah. Probably is impossible to verify. But this is the case with the vast majority of sexual assault allegations. Listen, it is nearly always a case of he said, she said. Okay. And it is nearly always the he that is automatically believed. Now, what? What? Do you know what he said, she said means? Because you can't have it both ways. Listen to what she says. She says it's almost a case of you can't prove it because it's word against word. But it's always the guy's word that's believed. Wait, no, you just said that you can't prove it because it can't be proven. So why would it be the guy's who is believed? You can't have it both ways. That's a double standard. If you can't prove it, you can't prove it. If you can believe it, you can believe it. But you can't have both. You cannot have both. It is far past time to hold these political elite accountable for their actions. Now, I'm not claiming that Joe Biden is guilty of committing sexual assault. It sounds like he could be. We all know he's a creep. But what I am saying is at least fill the public in on what is happening. Don't you think the people that are planning on voting for you have the right to know about this? Just one article. One article. Is that too much to ask for? Is it too much? Just one. Give us one article, please. Yeah, just move it to the right a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. What are you still doing here? Oh, you watched the entire video. That's great. Hey, you can watch some more right here. Don't really know what to say here. It's kind of awkward. Thanks. Thank you. Is that it? Thank you. Doesn't sound right.